Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're starting with our Wet n Wild eye primer, and I put just a really small amount on my finger, and then I just carefully pat that onto each eyelid, covering as much of the eyelid space as I can. Next, I'm moving on to the CoverGirl Outlast All Day Primer, and I just put this all over my face as my base. I'm putting on two foundations. One is matte and one is dewy, which gives me a nice natural finish. And they're two different colors, which allow me to mix together and make more of a custom color suited to my skin tone. First, I apply this to my face with my finger, and then I'm using a sponge to blend this out over my skin nice and evenly. I have some pigmentation close to my jaw, and I like to make sure that I've got good coverage around that area. You might notice some dogs walking around behind me. I have two Leon Burgers and a Malamute Cross, and all three believe that they should be exactly where I am every time I move from room to room. I like to blend whatever's left on the sponge down my neck, just to make sure that there's a nice smooth transition from my face down to my chest. Next, we're moving on to adding just a basic matte eyeshadow that I'm going to use just to kind of even out the skin tone of my eyelids. I'm using a really fluffy blending brush just to get this all over my eyelid nice and evenly. Now for the exciting eyeshadow from XX Revolution in the palette named Midnight Luxe. This part is sped up by 2 times the normal speed, just so that it doesn't take too long to get through this. None of the colours in the palette have names at this point, so I'm just pointing to the ones that I'm using. I've gone from a light shade in the transition area and then deepened that up with just a slightly deeper shade until I decide to get really bold and use a very dark navy, which does not go onto the eyelid as dark as what it is in the pen, but it still looks really cool. I'm using a brush with a slant cut into the bristles, and to start with I pat that on into the corner of my eye, and then I actually turn the brush around and use it, the slanted part, to form a bit of a wing looking thing on my eye, giving it a bit more angle and taking it up just a little bit higher. And then the key to this look is just to keep blending the colours together so that they don't have any real harsh lines. I've got some beautiful shimmery, glittery options to use. So I've tried 4 different colours and now I've just got to make a decision on which ones to use. Once again, I'm speeding up the video just so that you can see what I'm doing without actually having to watch every slow second of it. Putting a lighter shadow on in the corner of my eyes just to open my eyes up a little bit and look a little bit more awake. For some concealer, I like the E.L.F. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I use the colour Light Peach. And I like to use this under my eyes and around sort of the centre of my face to make that pop a little bit. I like to use a very small amount of powder just to set my face, but I do keep that very light and I don't go overboard with it. Onto the brows, I use E.L.F. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the colour Taupe. This does take me a little while to get these lined up perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but close to perfectly as I can get this day. And it's a great colour. I find that it just goes on with a lot of control and I'm always really happy with the outcome. Now to add some bronzer to my cheeks. I initially go in with a little bit more than I'm anticipating, and I get a bit of a surprise. But we got there in the end with plenty of blending and sharing it also up onto my temples and, yeah, around the sides of my face. I'm using a highlighter palette that was a gift from my daughter for a birthday, and it's got lots of colours in it for highlighter, and it gives you lots of options, so it's a great wee palette to have. To really buff my highlighter in to my skin and in with the bronzer, I put it on before I put on my blusher as well. Otherwise, I find that I'm putting too much highlighter on probably more often than not, and it just looks super glowy. Blush, I quite often mix colours up just to get the right colour that I'm looking for. And in this case, I'm using a soft pink and a apricot colour to just come up with a nice look for the day. When it comes to blending the powders in on my face, I do a lot of faffing. And I'll go back with my sponge and just even everything out, make sure there's no harsh lines. And now I'm putting on my mascara. It's the Essence Double Trouble Mascara, and at the moment, this is my favourite mascara. It doesn't seem to smudge or really budge, it doesn't flake. There seems to be lots of length and volume when I add it to my lashes. Please let me know down in the comments whether or not I'm the only person that pulls funny faces and blinks a lot when they're putting mascara on. I quite often will touch parts of my face with my fingers just to settle the makeup in or pat it out with the warmth of my fingers and of my hands. And then I do a quick look in the mirror just to make sure that I'm happy with everything. A few spritzes, probably about 4 of some setting spray. Finally, a nude liquid lipstick in the colour Bellini from I.L.F Revolution Makeup. I'll fluff my hair out from behind my ears and then I'll show you a photo of the final look without all the bright lights on my face. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!